Not bad.
How good?
Oh, it's great. It's great. And it's bigger than just footy. It's everyone. Socially, I went to a game on the weekend, Jared, for the first time in 2 years, and it was a fabulous night to be out and about. And, you know, you look at all the other games, like Hawthorn, there was, what, 60,000 at the MC?
66. It's
great to have it back. And the footy and the coaches are doing the game giving the game a lot of pride at the moment.
So it's high-octane stuff.
Yeah.
These are probably early season swings that you can really only get, and once we sort of settle into the grind, it becomes harder to produce these. But the swings were wicked.
Oh.
You couldn't see Adelaide over the top of Port with what ended up being the 28-point swing. Collingwood and Geelong, that was wild at 50 points. Hawthorn didn't end up getting Carlton, but there was a 40-point swing at length. And then it was mesmerising what St Kilda did to Richmond.
Was. Yeah, it really was, and well said. Jared, I think momentum is the most mystifying word in footy. People go, oh, they got momentum. Yeah, but what does it mean? It means you're kicking goals. More importantly is how do you stop it? And we've got the biggest and brightest minds in football coaching AFL teams, and they are getting 6, 7, 8, 9 goals kicked against them. What can we do to stop it? What can we do to stop it? And people think, oh, let's devise this, let's devise that. Geez, it's hard to devise because there's one thing that happens in football that I think really controls momentum. I know it's really boring, but, you know, slang-wise, having a crack. We call it winning the contested ball, because what happens then, you actually emotionally and physically overpower the opposition by winning the hard ball. And what happens always in football, any era, it gets too hard for one team. And it gets too hard. And when you have two fight-backs like, you know, the Carlton-Hawthorn game, you think, God, have a look at this. One team stands up, and we'll talk to Brett Ratton about momentum. Twice they've come back resilient. And Richmond have been on the end of two bad ones, Jared, in 3 games. Because suddenly in footy, again, it's only my opinion, it gets too hard. So you stop doing the stuff that's hard work. And the other team goes, have a look at this, whooshka, the doors have opened. Yeah,
the historical context which was sent to me today is in the past decade there have only been 54 instances where teams have overcome 30-plus point deficits.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember
Geelong have done 9 of those. They're responsible for 9 of those across the decade. So as well as all of what you said, there's the warrior spirit which is embodied by Joel Selwood.
Yep.
And so fitting that it was there on his night that the team mustered his warrior spirit essentially for him to charge home over the top.
That spirit plays a huge role in footy from the first siren.
Yeah.
Because Clarkson said one of the most famous, I think, one of the most famous and fitting lines in football is they beat because they were tougher for longer. And all the players will talk about it, mate. The game, it's an arm wrestle, and suddenly it's... and you're done.
Great climaxes, the best of which was at Adelaide Oval in the Showdown, which never fails, it seems, regardless of where they're placed. And the perfect headline in the Adelaide Advertiser was Dawson's Freak. You go, oh, yeah, that's spot on.
That is really nice.
So
look at the photo.
Yeah.
You can't buy that joy. You can't buy that adrenaline rush. To be in the crowd, we've both been at Adelaide Oval. It would have been awesome to be Jordan Dawson kicking the goal.
Yeah.
My God.
Which looked like it was missing. I got a great text today which said, no, it takes a lot of sunscreen or a bit of sandpaper to get a ball to swing
like that.
I thought we were just far enough down the track to be able to say that. So we whacked it through the lab.
I'm glad, Jared. Look at this kick, right? Look at this. It's... Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? I'm glad we've started with the positives.
Yeah.
Because we can get here on a Monday night and say, look at them all running. Mate, this is schoolyard stuff. This is schoolyard stuff. And this is why footy's great. Look at the crowd. God, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. You do anything to be in that position.
Yeah.
But we're starting with the positive because we can go negative. We can rip Port apart. We'll probably do it at some stage.
Yeah, we'll do it as soon as you're finished. Yeah.
Oh, righto.
Yeah.
So well done, Adelaide. It was a unbelievable, fantastic win because no one thought they could do it. And no one thought they could do it with 10 minutes to play. And, you know, and Ratton spoke about it after the game, it builds belief. when you can do stuff like that, Jared, you actually look at each other and say, we can do anything. Nothing is beyond us. If we put our application right, we can do anything, and that's what belief is.
There are some wins which just serve their purpose of getting to the 12 or however many you're aiming for, and then there are others that define you.
Absolutely.
And we saw a few of those on the weekend.
Absolutely.
So we did speak Port Adelaide this time last week, and I think we were of the view that the one loss they couldn't have was in this coming showdown, and the manner that they lost from a game that it looked like they would win by 4 goals for most of the night, and then they coughed it up late. And the pressure that is now bringing, so 0-3 historically is a terrible place to be. Even more so than the numbers, they just aren't playing well.
No, well, they're not. And the Zip 3, and, you know, we're a footy-based program, but we're also a news-based program. And this is quite a familiar scenes in all footy seasons. When a team is not performing to expectation and they lose heartbreakers like that, to Adelaide, in Adelaide, the pressure that goes on to the playing group is immense. The pressure that goes on to Ken Hinkley in his, what year, 9th, 10th year, is also immense. And footy's really incredible. 4 games ago, Jared, Port Adelaide were going into a primary final, favourites to go into a grand final, right? So they lose that, they get smashed. 3 games later, they're on the second bottom on the ladder, and the discussion will be, geez, Ken Hinkley's actually now in a dogfight for his job. I'm not saying he's losing it, but he's in a dogfight, and I'm not writing him off. Zip 3 is not the end of the world, but they're missing a couple of bookends, and they're a little missing a few smarts at the moment.
So it puts a lot on Thursday night against Melbourne as they hit the benchmark, and then Carlton at the MCG.
So what you're coaching, right? So are you going a beauty, or are you fearing Melbourne? Because tell me your mindset.
The trouble with it is they could restore a lot of their game, which is missing, frankly, at the moment.
Yep.
Play well and still lose and go 0-4. That's the trouble of hitting Melbourne next. If you come out and beat Melbourne, then you can actually restore yourself on one night, I suspect. They don't look to me to be playing the footy good enough.
Things change like
That's
that.
right. So it needs to change, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. They need goal kickers.
Melbourne are playing in bursts.
No, they need goal kickers. They need key defenders. So it's going to have to be one of those sort of hard jobs to get over Melbourne.
Yeah.
But where are Melbourne? Melbourne have they got the kill attitude? I think they have.
Yeah. And they apply it selectively.
Yeah, they didn't apply it against Essendon on the weekend.
Well, when they did when it mattered. It was just a ruthless kill.
It was.
For this one.
It was. Right. So, yeah, the spotlight's on Kenny and Port Adelaide. Hey, that's life. That's life. You lose games of football you should win. That's going to come.